While tidying my sister's room, I stumbled upon an unlocked phone. A text from my mother read, "Stir this into his tea and the wealth will be ours." Rage surged through me, and I dialed the police. I had poured years of grit into crafting my life. By 27, I owned a home, a paid-off car, and carried no debt. I wasn't handed success. I earned it through focus and sacrifice. I studied finance, landed a solid job, saved relentlessly, and shunned reckless spending. My sister, Clara, and her husband, Nate, were my opposites, trapped in a spiral of chaos, flitting between jobs, buried in debt, and pointing fingers at everyone but themselves. 5 months ago, Clara called, tears in her voice, saying they'd been kicked out of their apartment. Against my instincts, I let them move in, believing it'd be short-term. From day one, my house felt invaded. Dirty plates piled up, their stuff cluttered every space, and Nate turned my living room into his personal lounge. Clara invited strangers over without a word and helped herself to my belongings. Then, things started vanishing. A new cologne bottle, my favorite shades, a watch my dad gave me. The emergency cash in my drawer shrank. I tried to dismiss it, but suspicion gnawed at me. One day, fed up with the mess, I decided to clean their room. Amid the clutter, clothes strewn about, food wrappers scattered, I spotted a phone on the nightstand. It wasn't Clara's or Nate's. Curiosity got the better of me. I picked it up and the screen glowed, no lock. I didn't mean to pry, but when I opened the messages, my stomach dropped. The latest text was from Mom. "Make sure he drinks it all and the money's ours." My hands shook as I reread it. The prior message said, "He has to finish every drop, don't mess this up." My mind spun. I was the only he in the house. I drank tea every evening, a habit Clara had recently taken over. Had they been slipping something into it? The sudden exhaustion I'd felt after her tea now clicked. I called the police, but without hard proof, they couldn't act. Furious, I packed Clara and Nate's things and told them to get out. When they came back, I showed them the texts. They acted clueless, but Clara's sly grin and Nate's nervous glances betrayed them. "You'll pay for this," Clara hissed as they left. The next morning, my bank account was drained. $4,800 transferred, $2,500 withdrawn. My email was compromised. The bank confirmed fraud and the transactions traced back to Clara. I tracked them to a motel where I found them surrounded by pricey electronics and liquor, all bought with my money. A shouting match erupted. Nate confessed they'd planned to make me ill to seize my assets. I reclaimed what I could and kicked them out for good. The bank's investigation pinned Clara. She was arrested and sent to prison. Nate vanished before charges could stick. My mother, exposed as a conspirator, tried to smear me with lies, only to be caught in her own scam. In court, their glares burned with venom as if I'd wronged them. That day, I cut ties for good. Family isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's a brutal lesson in trust and deceit. With Clara behind bars and Nate gone, I thought the ordeal was over. I changed my passwords, installed cameras, and got a restraining order against my mother. For the first time in ages, my home felt like mine again. But people like them don't fade quietly. 2 months after the trial, I started getting anonymous calls at odd hours. Nothing but heavy breathing before the line went dead. My social media was swarmed with fake profiles spreading lies about me. Then came the letters, typed, unsigned, threatening, "You stole our lives, now we'll take yours." The police traced the calls to burner phones. The letters had no prints. Whoever was behind it was cautious. One night I came home to find my back door pried open. Nothing was taken, but my files were rifled through. Financial records were scattered. My safe was open, though empty. Most unsettling was a single teacup on my kitchen counter. Tea leaves lingered at the bottom, a blatant taunt. I knew it was Nate. The police had no leads, so I took action. Through an old contact, I found Nate in a seedy motel on the city's edge. When I burst through the door, he was alone, unkempt, desperate, but wearing that same smug grin. "Miss me, bro?" he taunted. Before he could move, I had him against the wall. "The calls, the letters, the break-in, you're finished." Nate let out a hollow laugh. "You think it's just me? Clara's got allies inside. Mom's got nothing to lose." "This isn't done just because," police sirens interrupted. I'd recorded every word on my phone. With fresh evidence, Nate joined Clara in prison. My mother faced scrutiny for conspiracy. The harassment ceased. I sold the house, Too Many Ghosts, and moved to a new city, changed my name. Some nights I still double-check the locks, pause before sipping tea. But I rest easier now, knowing family can be a trap. Sometimes the only victory is walking away. The new city carried the scent of rain and new beginnings. I leased a high-rise apartment with a sprawling view, no shared walls, no echoes of the past. The security system chirped reliably when I punched in the code. But 4 weeks in, the past sent a warning. A typed letter arrived at my P.O. box under my new name. You can't hide wealth. We taught you that? Inside was a photo of my old house's front door, time-stamped yesterday. I should have burned it. Instead, I went to the address scrawled on the back, a storage unit on the city's fringe. Unit 312 reeked of damp and bad choices. The metal door groaned as I lifted it. My mother sat atop a pile of boxes like a predator waiting. "You're looking rough," she said, flicking on a lighter. "Prison's been kind to Clara, though." The boxes held every paper tied to my life, birth certificate, tax forms, even a childhood drawing. "Nate's free," she went on. "Good behavior, believe it or not." She laughed sharply. I reached for my phone. She knocked over a box, spilling photos across the floor. Me at my college graduation, old family trips, all the lies we'd called memories. "Call the cops," she taunted. "I'll say you attacked me again." Then I smelled it. Gasoline. My mother held up the lighter. "Two options," she said. "Send $50,000 to this account by midnight, or tomorrow they'll be picking through your ashes." I stepped closer. She flicked the lighter. The blast tore through the unit's back wall. We were both thrown back. I came to cuffed to a hospital bed. Smoke inhalation, burns on my arms, no sign of my mother. The detective leaned against the doorframe. "Storage manager says it was wired to blow. Lucky a passerby saw the fire." I tested my bandaged hands. "Check the cameras." He tossed a charred USB onto my blanket. "System's toast," he said. 3 days later, a nurse handed me a newspaper. Page 4 showed a burned-out car pulled from a lake, one body inside. Dental records pending, but I knew. I should have felt something. Relief, regret, anything. Instead, I downed the hospital tea in one bitter gulp. No odd aftertaste. They released me yesterday, the apartment's pristine. The view still steals my breath. Sometimes I strain to hear the security systems chime. It always sounds.